Welcome. Thank you all for being here and joining us from wherever you are today, tonight, this morning. Um, we have a really wonderful guest speaker with us tonight, and I want to introduce you to my co-host, Magdalene Rose. And she will introduce you to our wonderful guest speaker.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining from wherever you are in the world. We are all connecting tonight from various locations, all the way from Australia to Iowa in the States to Greece in Europe, where Anouk Sophia will be joining us this morning. So Anouk Sophia is somebody that I met in Egypt last year, just before I was going to go to the Temple of Dendera, which is dedicated to Hathor. And it was just the night before the full moon in Taurus. And such a wonderful meeting. I realized that, she shared with me how she had spent many years living in Egypt and spending a lot of time really being able to immerse herself in the energy fields and the telluric, the nodal points of Egypt that are so potent and becoming more alive and activated in these times. And she was sharing with me how, through her experience of spending time in Egypt and visiting sacred sites and also guiding other people to these sacred sites, she was able to truly observe how these sites are so charged with energy, with potent stellar and earth energies that can really assist us to shift our consciousness. She has a very strong connection to the stellar realms, and she works in interstellar soul astrology, where she's able to receive downloads and really tune into a person's chart and see which areas of their life are very much activated at this time and that are calling or inviting an expansion of their consciousness and their service work and embodiment as well. And Anouk has an incredible relationship with the living Neteru, or the primordial energies of Egypt, and she knows very well how to work with them, and her understanding of these energies as archetypes that live within us. And because of her amounts of experience and also working with the waters, particularly in the primordial waters, as well as the waters of the Nile, and her affinity and the downloads that she has received with working with oils in a very subtle and potent way to activate areas of our energetic bodies to again enhance and expand our consciousness and healing. We felt, Molly and I felt it would just be, we couldn't imagine anyone more ideal to have on board with us as a guest speaker and a guest guide, and also offering those who join us special discount in her one-on-one offerings for interstellar soul astrology readings which are very profound and life transforming. So that's quite a lengthy introduction, but we want to just honor our guest, and we welcome Anouk Sophia.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. An honor to be here with you, Jasmine and Molly. Thank you for the invitation and thank you for the honoring. And especially thank you for the trust to be with you in your own amazing work, in your own uh, teachings and your retreat in Egypt. So it's a pleasure and an honor to be here and yes, to share a bit more of what is for us, what the sky is showing for us, and how we can be more fully in our body and more fully present. And when I say in our body, I don't only mean physically, with yoga or breath, but also our frequency, like truly bringing our frequency into our totality in this timeline,
Yes.
in equal measure. Because yes, so many things we can be doing, and yet it is so simple. It feels it's a yes. It's just okay, I am ready, even if I don't feel ready. It's the time is now, and we have landed on planet Earth for a reason, and we have landed here on purpose. I truly believe everybody has a sacred responsibility and a sacred purpose to be here, and we're all doing our part for future generations. So it's truly a unifying point where we are part of the fibers that are being created for new earth. And if we can be fully present, or even starting to call it hyper present, which is truly feeling and sensing everything and able to alchemize without having to go through the whys and in even the work that we might have called in the past as shadow work, but truly embody the frequency, and then everything that isn't us just vanishes in the light of truth, like the truth of the soul. So Egypt is is magic. I have to say, Egypt is magic. It will
Mm.
bring you where you need to be. It will offer you what it's helpful and needful for the evolution of your own path on earth. And we all know that the one thing that we struggle with is our own power, and not power as in it's displayed on planet earth in governments and certain societies, but the true power of the soul, which again returns to us being able to be in literally in the flow, in the fractal of the soul, which is where we create from, and therefore we create benevolent futures. So I'm excited about this time. So I know you asked me to talk a little bit about how I began all of this, and in many ways I have begun this when I was a child. I used to live in a place which surprisingly I could see the stars even in the city. And I would climb the roof of my house, and I must have been about 7, 8, 10. And I would just literally sing to the stars. I had some kind of memory that this wasn't it. And I literally would feel like almost like little prickles on my
Mm.
skin. And somehow that was music. It wasn't, but in a child's mind, it was kind of like what I would sing back. So that was a magic time in itself in my connection to the stars. So no surprise in that later on in my life, I was fascinated. I was obsessed
Yeah.
with the stars, and what and how could I unravel my own life? How could I see where I came from and why I'm here? That was always something that was very alive in me. I remember being 5, maybe 4, in a playground and asking the children in the playground, "Do you know where you were before you arrived?" It's like, like, what?
Oh,
Who is this girl from? So I'm sure a lot of us have this, where we have a knowing, an inner desire to remember something. That's always how it felt. It felt like something very important I must remember, and I would even feel a bit frustrated because I couldn't quite remember what it was. And the many clients that come to me have had similar ways of explaining that. It gets to a point as like, okay, now I'm gonna open those doors and find myself, find the truth of me. And the beautiful thing is the experiences we have through our lifetime actually guide us to the truth, to the knowing, to the frequency. So they're not as hard as they might be, and a lot of galactic humans, a lot of ambassadors from the stars that are here on the planet have had to go through a lot of, I want to say, hoops, a lot of difficulties to become
Mm.
themselves, to emerge from all of that. So I honor all of you. I honor you both, and I honor all of
Mm,
the ones that will be listening, and of
Mm.
course the ones that are coming to
Thank
Egypt. You know,
you.
you got through those phases of
Mm.
initiation, which is not separate
yeah.
from the teachings of ancient Egypt in our own way. We've
Totally.
all had to go through those seven gates, right?
I
Mhm.
hear you totally. Thank you for speaking to that. And it's an ongoing process, really, of just shedding layers and remembering, there's no really learning, but it's more being activated by more information coming through to us or going to certain places. And many of us that are even called to even be listening to this conversation or this call will also be, have had lifetimes of being initiates in the ancient mystery schools. And that's why we're drawn, because on a soul level, our higher self is calling us, is guiding us to remember, you know. And many of us have come from those lifetimes, as ancient wisdom teachers or mystery priestesses. And we chose to come back in these times to then hold that space open for others to remember as well, just as others do still, as it's an ongoing process of being the eternal student and the eternal way shower or guide for others, that eternal remembrance of coming back to where we've come from in a way, those higher states of consciousness and different times on earth, which is coming back through each of us that we continue to remember and embody. Totally.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, you also asked me to bring a little bit of my own my own knowing, and then the astrology that it's obviously very prevalent right now. As I have said before, we are in the adaptation phase. There is already a massive evolutionary turn of the wheel. We've already have gone through so much. The ones that remain, I don't know if you noticed, but in the last 3 years, a lot of souls have left the
Mm.
planet because they were the preparation souls, and now their work was done, and we are here to complete this big wave of moving everything out of and into something new. And my sense is that the new that we might call New Earth, it's already here, but it hasn't, we have not, as humans, we have not yet lived it. So there is a bit of, oh, everything I knew seems that no longer fits
Mm.
in where we're going, or even the way that I might have used a pendulum for get information is like pendulum is no longer speaking. And the sense is that we are really truly in 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 the flow, in time, through time space, to be ourselves and be the technology that we are as sentient beings,
Mm.
and to remember and recalibrate and then be in this adaptation phase, because we might grasp the concept but then want to do things as was, and that doesn't work anymore.
Mm.
So
Totally.
Egypt is such a powerful land, right, to
Totally.
bring us to that. Oh, okay, now there is a big shift and I feel it. It's
Totally.
physical, right?
Totally.
People tell me, yes.
And the best way for people to approach it is to just be open to and just trust that you will receive what you're meant to receive at the right time. Like it's not to go seeking or expecting, because that's how we create, that's when we go into our minds and then we block our ability to receive what we're ready to receive in that moment. And it might be very subtle or it might be very intense. It might be, you receive a very powerful activation at a sacred site, but when you least, it's usually these things happen when we least expect them, when we're not looking, when we're not seeking, we're just being present and in our feminine, in the receptive mode, and and also, once you return home, and then give it, you will have an integration time, and then you will start to, if not beforehand already, you will you will start to realize that, there are massive, profound shifts that have happened for you, and Egypt will call you. And when she calls, it's like the ancient motherland of ancient high technology. When she calls, you can feel it, you know it in your heart and your womb. And I can speak from my own experience that to be able to trust that when she calls, you will be held and you will be guided and you will be supported. Yeah. So if
Yeah,
anyone's,
and often,
Mm.
yeah, go on.
No, please continue.
Uh, and often people tell me that they don't fit in their lives anymore when they go home.
Mm,
They feel so different. It's
mm,
almost as if they're speaking a new language and they need to somehow return to that small world that they left. And
mm,
it is, as you say, there is this time of integration, and then, okay, now I have to make choices. I have to be the courageous one that makes choices towards my adaptation and towards disembodiment of the new frequencies that now are active within us. So we can't truly fit back in the old that we've just left. It feels like it's just a 2 weeks or a 10 days, but it's many, 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 many initiations
mm,
in literally cellular level.
mm,
So, okay, Egypt is on the meridian. There is a meridian that was known as Zep Tepi. And Zep Tepi is translated as first time.
mm.
I translate it as before time.
Yes.
Before time was set and bound, before we were
Mm,
bound.
mm,
There was an omniscience, a all-prevailing expansion.
mm. Like the
And
quantum
we,
field. Yeah.
through time, yes,
Mm,
landed in this time. It's kind of like a pin in a massive map of time space. And but when we return to Zeptepi, we return to original frequency. We return to the harmonics
mm,
of original human blueprint, and therefore your original harmonic. And it doesn't mean that we are all the same harmonic, because we have our own different sacred geometry, our harmonic pattern. And I talk a lot about the harmonic blueprint. And in fact, the latest and a lot of my work, I add your harmonic blueprint will be the guide in the new world,
mm,
because it is from your own Zeptepi, from your own beginning of time, before you were bound to all the stories, to all the ancestral stuff that you chose to help assist in clearing for this timeline, and for the many thousands of years before you even chose to do this. But where is it going in the future? So again, if you imagine, dropping a pin in the vast map of time space, we have the opportunity to be hyper present and to then return through the soul back to Zeptepi. So Zeptepi is the land, but it is also an epoch, if you like, where wise wise humans, wise beings, we remembered and we had walked the earth. And I say we because why not? It could be that you have returned from that very beginning of time to make sure that you are supporting or expanding the field for others. So Zeptapi was also the land, also the meridian. which today is known as also the Nilotic meridian or the
Mm.
golden meridian.
Golden
And
meridian.
so it travels about 32 degrees east latitude, 32, 31, 33. So 32 is kind of the middle and is a meandering energy which moves the whole east side of Africa and circumnavigates the Earth. So it actually passes through Hawaii
Mhm.
as an antipode, and obviously um, all of the lands, including Turkey, which is all the sacred sites are. So that energy, that telluric energy, the energy of the earth, is also a fault line. So when we know the river Nile begins as the White Nile, some say is Lake Victoria in yeah, Kenya and Tanzania, because yeah.
Mm.
But it's possible that it's a little bit before that in Rwanda. And then the Blue Nile begins at Lake Tana, or at least it trickles into Lake Tana in Ethiopia. And together they join at Khartoum in Sudan, and then they travel up as one consciousness into the rest of Sudan and into Egypt.
Mm.
So this water as a consciousness is coming in from two sides into one, so the blue and the white, and it's actually moving through a fault line. It's a fault line, and the fault lines are also speaking because they are, if you like, cracks. So
Mm.
where the energy is from the center of the earth, magnetic earth, the waters are carrying magnetic frequency. And from my research and my teachings, all information, all intelligence is moving through magnetics and electrics. So our physical body has a nervous system, and we are adapting, yes, to live in this bombardment of noise and disruption, but it is actually designed for us to be fully sentient, receiving constant information and upgrade through the earth, and also from galactic, from
Mhm.
cosmic. So
Yes,
we are,
above and below.
yeah, so we have always been this technology, and I want to say that so many of us, including myself, having lived in a city for 3 weeks, it was so much that I couldn't be fully
On,
my full sentence because
I
it
hear
was
you.
too much on my nervous system, right? So take care of that. Take care of your nervous system the best you can by grounding, by eating the best you can, by drinking the best water you can find, and by just really honing in your frequency, returning all the time. If you're with people, if you're with family, you know how it feels when it doesn't feel good. So train yourself to know your being and how it feels, because it feels good and you want more of that. It's exciting to be in your own energy. So when you land on Zeptepi, on the Golden Meridian. And by the way, this Golden Meridian continues on, or Zeptepi continues on to all the sacred sites. When the Nile, it's below ground. When we get to Central Africa, if you look on the map, on one side you'll have all of the water, and on the other side you'll have all of the fire, all of the volcanoes, which now are the mountains like Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Meru. And in the center there is the East African Craton, so it's Craton, and that represents ancient Earth. This is the part of the Earth never was anything but the beginning of time,
Mm.
Earth. And that is in the very center of fire and water, in the very center of Africa.
Mm.
And if you follow down to South Africa, you get to Timbavati, where the white lions are born, and Credo Mutwa has
Yes.
uh, wrote so much about their
Yes.
frequency and their ability to guide us into being fully sovereign and fully in our own leadership, in our own divine will power. And so let's bring it now to astrology. Divine will power is your Pluto. Check your chart. Where is your Pluto? Pluto is an interpersonal planet, so it moves very slowly. So many of us have Pluto in the same location on the chart because we have come to work with our power in the same way and very often work with each other. So
Mm.
soul groups came together to assist each other to fully return to the to yeah, to the divine willpower. So it's not the power of, yes, I have muscles, that's more the
Ego.
Mars, but right, the your ability to stand and to be who you came here to be with the geometry that you chosen to bring to Earth. And so this is one planet to consider. The other planet to consider very much is obviously Uranus. Uranus is the future. So check where your Uranus is set on your divine blueprint as your natal promise, your natal chart. See the aspects of your Uranus because that is the awakening point. This is your innovation. This is how you open your mind and how you become this, you return to be this higher frequency. The evolution happens through your point of Uranus. So Uranus at the moment, it's creating what we can call a magic triangle with Neptune and Pluto, and this has began last year and continues until 2028. So this is happening for all of us in the sky. Pluto, divine will, Uranus, your awakening, and major fast transformation is plasma, is the light, is the lightning strike that you know and then you can't unknow, and life has to change.
Mm.
And then there is Neptune. Neptune is the divine dream. Neptune is the reminder of what it was that you wanted to be part of when you landed on planet Earth. So, very important. Check where Neptune is
Mm.
for you right now, which is the 0 degrees of Aries, because the 0 degrees of Aries is very important to the time when we are in Egypt because of the equinox. March equinox marks the entry of the sun into Aries. So this is a new time, a new
Cycle.
season.
Mm.
But it's also a new season for humanity because there is Neptune and Saturn, the architect, together playing in and out of the 0 degrees since, yeah, pretty much the whole of this year. Neptune moved into 0 degree Aries in March 2025. Saturn is returning into Pisces one last time. For a lot of us, is one last time in our lifetime to complete the stories of old world, to complete all that we may see as templates that keep us hostage in a way of thinking, in a way of being, so that we can literally complete, honor the journey, complete it, and be in fullness for what is coming, because there is no room for the old stories of the old ways of separation in the new world. So check 0 degrees of Aries, all of you that are listening to this, and see how that point affects your chart. And if you need support, ask an astrologer or come back to Molly, Jasmine, and myself. So with that, by January 2026, a lot of placements are coming back into, okay, we have another, October, I got a good 2.5 months to complete the story. So a lot of us are going through massive upgrades. And it may not feel good. It may feel like the earth is kind of, trembling from underneath our feet. It might feel like, whoa, I don't know who I am anymore. One minute I wake up and I know myself. The next minute is like, what just happened? So trust the journey, trust the process. You're right on time. These planetary bodies creating this triangle will pretty much continue until 2028. And we have the opportunity of a lifetime for most of us to experience this evolution like fully in the body. And so by the time Neptune, the divine dream, your deepest desire of your soul that you are yearning to bring into being, like you want to create something, birth something, even if you don't know what it is that inner fire desire that wants to it's emotion. I want to say it's emotion. If you ever gave birth to a human child, when the body wants to complete that pregnancy, you can't stop it.
Mm.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
I don't know another example to describe this force of it's time for something new. So, however you experience that in your emotional, physical body, in your way of being, know that let it move because this is cosmic plasma moving through your cells and activating your memories.
Mm.
mm,
So February 20th, big time for all of us. A new world, a new dream. I created this program called the Geometry of Dreaming because it was so much about who am I and what is my truth and am I living? Am I living the me? Am I living the I that I am so that I can be in the fractal of my own soul and expand throughout the universe? Because yes, we might think that we are counting our years on earth and that, we did this in our 20s and we did that in our 40s. But the soul continues. The soul is infinite.
yes.
So when we are on planet Earth at this time, and when we get the opportunity to be standing on Egypt's soil, which is Alchem, which is the alchemy of, um, I'm trying to think of the name of it. There is a paper which is translated, which is said that Hermes is speaking to Asclepius. And I often quote this, and Hermes is also known as Thoth.
Yes.
And he is telling Asclepius, the doctor, he is the one who heals. And also he heals
Yes.
through dreaming. So
Yes.
very much what is your divine dream?
Mm.
And is telling Asclepius, do you know that Egypt is a mirror of the heavens?
Mm.
And that the netters are a mirror of us.
Mm.
They are the forces that we exist through, that we embody. It's the cosmic flow and how we can move through life
Mm.
if we care to be aware and awake and conscious and activate those forces as netters, which, yes, we know them as gods and goddesses, but they were never meant to be that. They were meant to be a physical
Forces,
representation of the power.
forces
Right.
of nature, like primordial energies.
Yes, yes. So primordial energies are not separate from also the sky energies. So the earth energy, the sky energies, and then the energies within us.
Mm.
And now this is the total alchemy realization of what we might call ancient Egypt.
Mm.
Ancient Egypt is how pharaohs recorded information that was much ancient than dynastic Egypt. So even how they left the stories for us
Mm.
to perceive and read and decipher, there is levels of it, and I believe dimensions of it, and I believe that the soul is a key, and this is why we need to go to sacred sites. We need to land with our DNA structure on sacred sites
Mm.
because activate something that isn't cognitive, that we can't study in a book.
Totally. And this is the beauty of hieroglyphics, or hieroglyphics. It's the symbology of the soul. These symbols, the ancient Egyptians, they encoded all their wisdom into the stones and into the landscape of Egypt. And a lot of it is intentionally symbolic so that it could bypass the logical mind and speak straight to the subconscious and the soul, which understands, which knows, which remembers. Yeah, can
Yeah,
then filter
it's
through.
Beautifully said.
Mm,
Yeah.
so beautiful.
mm,
Yes. And we could go on and on and on and these beautiful gifts. And I love how you were just sharing about the intelligence of the innate waters, and we'll be able to really experience these as we
mm,
travel up the Nile on this beautiful retreat during this timing during the equinox, and actually be able to experience this as a living temple, and feel these frequencies within the body, and feel this connection, from above and below,
mm.
and
And
and really the embodiment
mm,
of, and the awareness of what it truly means to be the human and in the divine.
mm. And I
Yes.
love how you were,
Yes.
Anouk, I love how you were speaking about the colors of the Nile, the white and the blue, because those
Mhm.
are the colors of Isis, and traditionally, associated with Isis, who is also known as, it is said that the Nile is an embodiment of Isis, and the land is the embodiment of Osiris. But it's all these are also the colors of Mother Mary. So it's the Marys, the mer beings, the
Mhm.
priestesses, the water, the wisdom keepers.
Mhm.
So it's also interlinked. And that's what we're going to be
Beautiful.
really tapping into and working with when we're there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Mm.
Yes. Thank you, Anouk, so much for being here.
Yes, thank you very much.
We'll also put links in um, for the Magdalene Flame Egypt Retreat, so you can get more information on that.
And
And the
as
day
Well, if you're feeling the call.
and the dates for the retreat, if
they
any
are
people to
the
know.
9th to the 22nd of March. So it's 14 days and 13 nights. And we will also be working with oils and learning about the ancient Egyptian mystery school teachings and ways with which to work with various oils for healing and for raising our consciousness as well. And for those that are on this retreat, we will also be creating our own oil blends, and that's something that Anouk also has a lot of experience with. If you'd like to speak to that in any way, briefly.
Yes, I I have been creating blends. Um, they were um I don't know how to say that. I receive that this needs to exist, that this needs to be born, and then I'm told all that needs to happen, and it feels like it is the sentient fields that are creating it, and then I'm just the hands carrying it to a specific temple on a specific day, and
Mm,
maybe yes, procuring the oils and buying the little bottles, but it does just happen, and
mm,
I haven't created that many. But I have taught people to create their own, and I feel that if something is wanting to be born for humanity, it definitely will. And if something wants to come through you that will assist you in your healing and your evolution, then that is definitely a really good place to do that in Egypt, to be present and open for something new to really be perceived through you and be born through you. I also wanted to add on Isis.
mm,
the symbol of Isis looks like a geometry, and it is said that it is the throne
Mm,
or the center, the kind of the Holy of Holies, the point of the seat. And as you were speaking about water and Isis, it reminded me that it is about embodying that and sitting in the throne of the soul.
mm,
That is the remembrance. This is the
mm,
great love and the great healing
mm,
that this nectar was able to express, or at least dynastic Egypt was able to leave for us. And the two sides of her, because she has the side of Nephthys.
the
And
lunar.
if you or if
Yes.
you're coming on the retreat with Jasmine and Molly in March, then we will go on this particular rooms at Dendera,
Mm,
and they're also available in Edfu,
mm,
the temple, where we will see both. For me, they're the polarities of one, and
mm,
how in the end, dark and light come together for healing and remembering, and
One.
creating something new.
and
So
yes,
it's very exciting.
and how both are needed, both need to be integrated.
Mhm.
And I love
They're
that you,
one. The
yes,
balance.
and I love how you spoke about the throne of Isis. So we can recognize Isis. One of the ways we can recognize her in the hieroglyphics is that she's always often shown with it almost looks like she's got a throne on her head. What it also symbolizes is, from a hermetic point of view, it symbolizes the three stages of initiation in the ancient mystery schools, although there can be sub phases in those three main levels of initiation. They're usually most of the ancient traditional ancient mystery schools had three subdivisions to, self-mastery, for example, as the ultimate. And that was first working with the first level was always about the divine feminine, truly embodying and healing and reconnecting with the divine feminine. The second layer was always about the divine masculine, embodying and integrating and healing, or in integrating the divine masculine. And then the third layer, the final layer, was about the integration and the union of the two. So that was something I learned along the way. That's also why Isis was depicted, because she and Thoth were said to be basically the creators of all of the ancient mystery schools throughout the world, because they seeded ancient mystery schools throughout
Yes.
different parts of the world. And they all had this basis of three levels of initiation. So,
Oh,
yeah.
I love that you shared that.
Mm,
That's
yeah,
so beautiful.
yeah.
Those two always show up together for me too,
Isis and
like in
Thoth,
meditation and in Egypt. Yes, all the
totally.
time.
Well,
Mm,
Isis is said to
yeah.
be a daughter of Thoth. So, yeah.
Oh,
But we'll be
I
talking
love
about a
that.
lot more of
I
and
can't,
sharing a lot more of these types of
yeah,
insights during our retreat. So,
so beautiful.
yeah, a lot to share.
Nice. Oh, beautiful. Yes. It's just the tip of the iceberg. I feel it.
Totally.
Or the tip of the wings. Okay.
Okay.
Wow, this was beautiful.
Thank you so much, Anouk, for joining us today and for all that you've shared. Okay.
Yes, thank you. My pleasure, my delight to be here with you and spending this time. And thank you all that will be watching this. May you know your power and your true self.
Mm,
Beautiful. Yes, thank you so much. And thank
Mm.
you for saying yes, for yes, being part of this beautiful retreat coming up this next year. So excited
mm.
to be a part of the team.
And just in case anyone would like some more information about Anouk and her work, your website is www.anouksophia.com. Okay.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. And wishing everyone a wonderful evening or wonderful day
Likewise.
for the rest of wherever you are in the world. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Thank you. Bye bye.